Diggity favoured here in game one. Interesting. Split decisions here on the panel. We like a bit of that. It's nice and feisty. And we'll find out what the casters think as well as we head over to the commentary desk for our final series of the day. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Red Eye. I'm Gareth. Joining me is Purge, and we are here for, well, maybe one of No Diggity's most important series of the year so far. This best of three. If they win it, they get through to the main tournament, but complexity stand in their way. Now, looking at the draft, Purge, who do you favour? We've heard the panel.
I have a hard time looking at team composition because I just look at all of the auras that stack on No Diggity's lineup. They've got Beastmaster aura, they've got Venge aura, and they have the SF aura to lower their opponent's armor. So that's like three things amplifying damage. And on top of that, if they amplify damage on the target they're hitting, you're talking about huge value coming out of the heroes they picked. So that, as well as their gank setup and their team fight's pretty good. Not as good as complexities, but I just look at that and I'm like, this No Diggity lineup just looks so good to me.
And their dire side as well. So Roshan, pretty open for them. But you look at the AoE from Complexity, contesting Roshan is definitely up their alley with a Black Hole and Static Storm behind them.
Yeah, they can gank so well too with Doom and just Dream Coil from Puck. They've got Glimpse if No Diggity ever gets out of position. There's a lot of good things about their lineup, but I have trouble looking at those auras, not just drooling.
Find Swindles here? Era. Starts off with a crush, and now Syndrome through the Magic Missile across the lineup. The arrow from Yapzor, and they've right-click Swindles down enough. They might just drop here first. But goes with No Diggity, great rotation up onto the high ground. And they kick things off with a bang.
Was he just standing there, I'm guessing? Like,
he
right on the top?
He ran up towards the large camp to maybe check if it's being sentryed or warded up. And
and walked right into three, I see.
Walked right into them.
I mean, that's tough when they have that many stuns. Like, very difficult to predict that they'll just be there. But I like that they checked. It's a tanky hero that they can start the game off well on.
We've seen a lot of offlane Doom recently from China, and you know, Alchemist, Bounty, Doom, all heavily prioritized by Chinese teams, kind of manipulating the economy, gaining gold out of seemingly thin air. And we'll see exactly how well Swindles can do from this offlane role, but Yapzor is already starting things off, rotating himself towards the mid lane, but bottom, Thunderstruck to force Kezu back. What's Yapzor up to?
Well, what he started with was he killed the large camp. So now that Doom can't eat it, so he actually did accomplish a lot in this little bit of time. And this doesn't block, but it's going to spot where Enigma is, so he's trying to steal the big creep if possible, and Z-Freak's trying to block it here. Alright, he's going to get it.
Little devil. He's got his level 2.
Doesn't really limit the Enigma that much, because he can still kill the camp pretty easily, but it's mostly just to shut down what Doom can do, because now there's another big creep that Doom can't eat.
I'm going to go in with the chain stuns again, Magic Missile into Crush, and they've slowed him down a lot, body blocking him up. There's the Fairy Fire as well with Swindles, one more click from Cinderin will secure up that one. And Swindles having a rough time. Now, a lot of the time we've seen Dooms, maybe have a difficult time in the first couple of minutes, but they go back into the jungle. Not an option for him here. He has to stick it out up on top.
That was just so well done by Era. He was able to stay in front of him while right-clicking. And that's basically because of the First Blood. He was able to get boots before the Doom does, and that's normally a position Doom isn't in. So that mistake led to that death, which he would have survived on normally. So pretty unfortunate for Swindles here.
Yes, pretty much. But down the bottom lane, of course, we do have Chessie farming himself away, 11-3. I'll pick up his boots now, and he's been zoning out this Kezu Beastmaster a fair amount. Is there Iron Talon coming out soon for him? Oh, sticking with the gold.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough lane here. It's nice to be Drowinger for this reason, because you could basically have the board slope with one of your skill points, so it kind of offsets a lot of that movement speed advantage that Beastmaster gets. Plus, if Beastmaster ever does get out of position, then Disruptor can glimpse him back. So, already level 3 in Disruptor, plus the bonus damage from the aura. It's looking great there.
Again, the Crush. They've just got this chain stun down pat. He turns back with that Infernal Blade, but it's pretty good here from No Diggity as they turn and kill him off another time, and 3-0 on the Radiance. It was like, where did that die? Down at bottom lane?
Murder snipe it? Did he send a boar over or something?
Oh no, wait, the Radiant Courier died up towards the top rune spot. Never mind.
How?
Not entirely sure.
Oh, we'll have to watch the replay on that one, I guess.
Time to rewind.
Yeah. I saw SF mid when that happened, and I didn't see any supports on the map.
Well, where did Yapzor die? Because he was...
Oh, it must have been him then, because he died to Puck, right?
Yeah,
he just respawned really fast because he's a low level is probably what happened. So that's absolutely worth it. If he does a leap for a courier kill, he's only giving Puck, what, 300 gold? And everybody on his team gets 175. Completely worth it.
That's really nice. Given across the boots to Koikva and the courier upgrade now. Flying around, and it will be Iron Talon for the Beastmaster, realizing the bottom lane is no safe place to be at this point. Gotta dip back and farm up in that area. So Shadow Fiend for Koikva, 16 and 7. He's even with the puck right now, even with that Drought Aura helping it out. Actually get the last hits in towards this mid lane, but Limp's puck has been spectacular over the past couple of months. Definitely the big playmaker that Complexity need and require, especially out of this game. Because Z-Freak's rotations, he's level 3.5, floating in a level 4, but Yapzor is almost shut down this Enigma fully.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job here, and he's still looking for the Enigma. Z-Freak is at the bot rune, he'll grab a haste. But this reduction in farming speed that he's hit him with is completely impacting it, because normally you hit, what, level 6 by like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes kind of a thing if you're a little slow. Now it's going to be much later than that, which will affect his ability to black hole mid and guarantee a kill on like Shadow Fiend, not to mention many other things.
Usually you have your Soul Ring by like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes as well, and he's sitting here with 2 clarities and 700 gold. You're right, they're going to go in onto the Beastmaster. He's just going to get silenced and nuked down, and this should turn into a tier 1 as well with the Eidolons up. Z-Freak, he's losing them very quickly. The help of Chessie's aura though, this tier 1 should drop.
He still does keep some alive though, and he is behind, but level 3 Enigma is still quite good for ganking. It's just not good for disable. So spawning Eidolons push the tower, they'll take this rapidly, and this will lead into a nice advantage.
Cinder and Hansken is looking for the glimpse back. It's level 2, but might be the Disruptor that's in trouble here. He stands his ground, the glimpse back. There we go, Beastmaster is returned to base, but Hansken is trapped with the arrow. Alright, clicks come through from No Diggity and the Fairy Fire. Keeps him alive a bit longer, the South through, and the Connect still drops as well, but Yapzor, Self again, Chessie not enough! Taken out of the game, that was a lot of expenditure and a few sneaky little plays.
Yeah. They should have actually just not salved him, because they would have lost less gold than they did by killing him. That was actually incredible. That was such a big swing. They got like 200 gold plus their opponents lost like at least 300.
Oh man, where is Swindle's TPing to? Oh, back to Mountain. Arrow, not going to land on Limp. Hansken is kind of roaming Disruptor. We didn't really look at the Disruptor too much in the early stages of the game, but it's a hero that likes to be ahead, right? You want to be chasing people, glimpsing them back, getting to level 6 as fast as you can for that static storm.
He has done a great job though, like he's going to very many levels from pulling, and this is basically because Drought can help zone the Beastmaster. A little bit of scanning showing Complexity heroes behind mid, which means that Koikva is going to be scared and may end up shifting over to get jungle farm. Going to the bot rune is slightly confusing, but it's maybe they're anticipating a fight there, and this is why Mirana moved over slightly. So nothing really happening yet. Mirana does have a really fast arcane boots despite her level, and looking for heroes to arrow with the Hawk, they will see Chessie. Yeah,
they had the 4 heroes kind of converge towards bot rune, but Beastmaster still needs that level 6, and he finally hits into it. And in the meantime, Era up to 1300 gold. He's a level 6 as well. Looks like Blink Dagger for him. But we've seen a lot of Armlet Slados recently. Just going for like the carry build and tanking yourself up. A lot more early game damage. Or what do you want here from him? Is it initiation or raw damage output?
I would have to say initiation this game because of a Enigma, a Roar Bottom.
Yeah, found Chessie, Drow Ranger. Again, the chain stunts are good from No Diggity. They can come in with a Doom Call though. Oh, TP from Syndra and Keizu still silenced up. The glimpse back. Syndra trapped in place, but Limp doesn't have damage to kill anyone off. And Hansken turned around on with a board, slowing him slowly, but surely they'll kill him off. And the trade off. Keizu, nice ult forward. Syndra, he's got another magic missile. The face shift is not there. He's not there. Limp arrowed up and taken out. He didn't get himself back to safety. They will lose Syndra in here though. A 2 for 2, but pretty perfect for No Diggity.
Yeah, Sin played that really well. He started the TP. I like how Keizu waited to TP until after they glimpsed, because obviously killing the support is less good for them. So the glimpse was wasted, and then the Beastmaster could start TPing, and then they realized, hey, we can just kill these guys, and they did. They blew them up really fast.
It comes down to like the minus armor and the auras we were talking about. You know, Wave of Terror here for Syndra is level 3.
That's a lot of minus armor. -5, plus they had the attack speed aura from Beastmaster, and they just cycled through all their spells so well, especially the puck kill. Getting that on top was amazing. Huge plays there from No Diggity.
Era up at top. 2,000 gold now. Blink 200 off, and he should be able to get that. Oh, no, there's not a large camp there for him. There's one hill troll, but he'll pull across and be fine. On Koikva, on the other hand, we used to see a lot of Max Shadow Fiend, a bit of Yule's, Blink. Aghanims was played, or picked up quite a bit in the qualifiers for SFs when he was played. Last time Koikva played SF, it was more of the kind of standard sent back. He gets the bounty anyway. Thanks for the free rune, lads.
I think that was a huge mistake. They actually could have maybe fought him there. I guess Doom's a little bit low. Yeah, alright, he was going to be alright. But yeah, I think mech is the build, don't you think? Like, the complexity is a very good team fight, therefore you put a mech on top of that and you're less likely to lose that team fight.
And you don't have a natural mech carrier on anyone else, really. Like, Synderen, like, maybe Yapzor, okay, he's got the headdress, so it looks like he will be heading into the mech. But even in the previous SF game, I expected mech from him, but he seems to like the just raw right-clicking damage with a bit of a BKB on top of it.
Yeah, I really think that's the build, especially against the Drow Aura. You're going to take a lot of physical damage from all the heroes, so might as well get as much armor as possible, and Aquila plus mech is going to do that. So there's the blink now on Slardar. Like we started talking about before, I just think it's worth doing against Doom, you know? If you get Armlet and you get Doomed, you're kind of just giving yourself a kill, or giving them a kill, because you're already going to take Doom damage.
Walk
so
straight into each other. Limp, smoked, with Z-Freak behind him.
They must have seen it, because they're just leaving.
There was no vision there, was there?
Well, they did have the ward semi-close to mid. Maybe that caught it?
Oh, you think... No, I thought you meant Complexity saw No Diggity. But...
Yeah, I was thinking the other way around.
No Diggity saw Complexity. I think you're right, then.
See where they're grouping? They immediately walk to high ground. Now they're sitting next to the Shadow Fiend because they're anticipating him getting ganked from an Observer ward. There's the scan now from the Radiant team that's going to spot out Synderen. They could kill Synd very easy here.
Looks like they'll try anyway. Malefice up to level 2. They've got the nukes to kill off Synd.
I don't like the fact that Synd walked there. I think he should have sat behind his tower because they knew that they smoked and they didn't set up on the Shadow Fiend.
Perfect placement from Yapzor straight across the river and into Hansken. So that smoke into the pick off for Complexity. It's traded out very evenly there for No Diggity.
Still a lot of gold was gained to Complexity from Venge kill though, more than what they got on the Disruptor. I really think Synd should have sat behind tower or just TP'd out to get out there.
High up. Where did Limp go to?
He orbed northwest as he grabbed it. I didn't see it. I was like, how did he go so far?
How did he suddenly jump halfway across the map?
Yeah, that seemed really weird to me. I was like, did his ally glimpse him? That's the only thing that made sense to me.
Does he have blink already? Like, he's not far off, 100 gold away from it, but that was a funny little move. But this is what we were really looking at, what the panel was talking about. The early rush here for No Diggity. 10 minutes in, that's going to be Aegis for what, you coik for Shadow Fiend?
Yeah, I think so. Especially because he doesn't have mech yet, so Aegis for him, and now they can be back and easily defend this tier 2. This is a great fight to take.
Even against Dreamcoil and Black Hole, they can maybe walk in here. They're yet to see a roar from Keizu, but he's got the TP scroll to actually get himself up on the front lines at top lane. They're stepping up for this, both teams posturing around it, but Koikba's not moving himself up there.
Yeah, he's actually not getting the mech. It's going to be on Mirana.
Yapzor, yeah.
So I guess they don't quite feel ready to go. They're going to spot in.
Synderen, he walks into death, or he's trying to start this fight anyway. The shoot-back goes down here, and Dream coiled up, but Synderen starts down, they've got Yapzor joining in, and Keizu waiting for that roar. Biding his time, but the Doom of Koikba will mean that No Diggity have no real way to continue this team fight, and they'll lose the tier 2 for no real gain.
Yeah, they didn't quite all in on that, and I think they needed to for that to go well. Great ward vision placed from Complexity, including the Sentry, spotted that up, so they definitely had to be a bit more coordinated. I think Koikba had to already be there for that fight to happen, but he hadn't even started his TP yet, I don't believe, or maybe the tower was already dead. But they needed to be coordinated as they went in, and if they had Aegis on Slardar, that would have been alright, but losing the Slardar like that, all for a Disruptor, absolutely not worth it.
And money goes the way of Complexity, and they're taking down these towers at a pretty rapid rate. Jesse back in for the Helm of the Dominator here after Aquila treads. And probably expect him just to try and pad out his stats as much as he possibly can. Get that armor, get that strength and agility to deal with auras from No Diggity. But equally, No Diggity look for tier 1s of their own, looking to pressure this map and keep Complexity on their side of the river. Make sure there aren't these little encroachments over to the dire side. Try to spread them out across the map as well. Because you know that Complexity's strength is that big 5-man wombo combo. Limp. Thinking about the solo pick-off onto Koikba there, but of course he does still hold on to Aegis.
They're scared about a lot of No Diggity being behind them. They definitely could have broken the Aegis there with puck hold, but you don't want to use it.
Oh, look at that Observer Ward and Sentry placed at exactly the same time. Is that Hunt's going to place that one down? Yep. Clever man, and now the smoke up immediately. They de-ward, they smoke, they look for the aggressive play. No Diggity sweep through Radiant jungle though.
I wonder if they got information from that. If they can make the assumption that they're smoking just because they're all together. It doesn't look like it because it looks like Era's gonna get caught.
Oh man, he definitely is. Era, you can turn back and out one else, but he is a lost cause.
Really good ward vision for Complexity right now. If you look at all their observer ward positions, they've got vision everywhere. Dire team has some good ones down, one lane ward top and the one middle, but that third ward would have been really useful. It was a good place to put it down. since Complexity is likely going to rotate between their offlane and the mid a lot.
Complexity really want to start ramping up the pressure here. They've got Mech done over on the Doom in a short while, 100 gold or 50 gold away from that one for Mech and Arcanes, but it's the Vlad pickup from Z-Freak that really interests me.
Oh, Vlad's, okay. Well, it does basically put them a little all in, because now Enigma has put all of his early gold into basically a 5 armor item. It's not a great Enigma item, but it's a great team fight item in the early game. It'll basically offsets exactly what the Shadow Fiend Aura does.
And it gives them life
good.
steal as well, back to like the Drow Ranger and that.
Yep.
Mech from Doom will help them through this as well.
If anything, that makes the Helm of the Dominator for Drow maybe a bit of a mistake. If he gets a lot of stacks out of it, it's worth it, but...
Like something like a Yasha or something like that might have been a little bit better.
I'm actually a pretty big advocate of the Ags build on Drow, because I feel like too many Drow Rangers just sacrifice for the good of the team to give them all damage, but it doesn't actually do enough. If you just grab Ags, it makes you farm fast by itself, and eventually it turns you into a real carry.
Yeah. Well, at this point, we're looking for both teams really vying for that initiation into these team fights. No Diggity seems to want to dodge the team fights for now, though. With a BKB from Shadow Fiend finally acquired, Quakefa can think about walking himself in, and they've got 1 minute left on the Aegis of the Immortals to down tier 1 and maybe push up into tier 2. Complexity are perfectly happy with this, and they might even utilize another smoke here. They're holding on to one. And back in the same position again by the Ancients, and it looks like they will smoke up, knowing there's no observers, no vision for No Diggity around in this area, and tier 1 at top, it looks so juicy. It's an easy target for this dire side, but they don't know what's waiting behind them in the trees.
They can do it now, though. There's BKB on Shadow Fiend. This is kind of why they were waiting to push. They wanted to feel like both lives on Shadow Fiend were going to matter.
Arrow,
perfect
onto Limp. Can they jump forward and catch him out? The Midnight Force is down to 2 on the point, but this is going to be a little bit of a wait here. He pops the Aegis. It was going to expire in about 40 seconds anyway. Try and go in again. Drive forward. Where is Era? There's the BKB from the SF. Reckon wound up the people. But Black Wolf down. But the damage from Complexity, they need to right to the K2. He heals up. The Mech is there. But they drop him anyway. They turn back in, but Z-Freak just walks himself out. One hit. He crossed up Era with a secondary initiation. Cinder is dropping low as well. And Lip jumps himself out. It's a 2-for-1 so far, but Enigma very low. One more click in, but he TPs away. And No Diggity continue the chase. Era comes forward and he wants the puck, he wants the Doom, he wants anything from this team fight. Just added extra value. Swindle will give them what they require.
Yeah, if they didn't have Aegis there was no way that fight worked, especially because Arrow blinked into the trees.
Hanskin dead as well? Oh, he showed himself.
He's got the glimpse, here it is.
It's back and Quakefa. Oh dear.
Really nicely played by Hanskin to just hide over there in the side jungle, because he knew there would be more chase, so rather than showing himself and attacking, he hides in the trees so he knows he can always glimpse, but only when it's the right moment, and that right there was the right moment. Free kill.
I thought Hanskin was the one in trouble. You know, he showed himself and there's like 3 heroes around, but Slaughter had already left the scene of the crime.
A really good farm coming out of Quakefa this game. That death does set him back a little bit, but he should be scaling just fine in these team fights, because basically both teams are all in on these fights here. Vlad's on Enigma, for example, like BKB first on Shadow Fiend. This basically means like they want to take the fights and they want to be able to win them. That's how they're planning to farm their gold this game. So both teams, they've got to both win team fights, but only one can be victorious.
11-11 at 17 minutes. You've got the Mech and Arcanes on Yapzor and Beastmaster. Okay, so Necro 2 is done if he wants it, but we've seen the precedent set over the past month or so where a lot of players like the Necro 1 and Necro 2 interblink and go for that kind of initiation route for the Beastmaster instead.
Yeah, I like that.
If you go for the Drow Ranger, and you like these gap closers to get in onto the Drow Ranger, both Slaughter and Beastmaster kind of offer you that.
Yep, and it's not just the Drow Ranger, it's basically all the heroes on Complexity, really. If you can Roar, Puck, kill him, Drow Ranger, kill him, Doom, kill him, any of those 3, even Enigma, any of those 4 heroes really are going to give you a huge advantage. So by starting the fight off on that way, and it can be either the Slaughter going in or the Beastmaster now. So yeah, I really like this transition build, this blink afterwards. He can still solo kill weak supports, but he can also team fight much better now.
No Diggity spending their scan over towards the Radiant Ancients, knowing that Complexity have spent a fair amount of time farming across there for the Drow Ranger to keep up terms of net worth for the Shadow Fiend, who's starting to race ahead.
What do you think he's building here?
Oh my god.
There's 2 things that I think it might be, but I'm hoping it's one of the 2.
I hope it's Aghanims. I really like Aghs on SF.
I looked at the numbers, and when you calculate all of the damage bonuses, I think it increases your ulti by like 70%.
Plus the heal you get back as well is insane.
Yeah, and you get healed. The only downside is that you're fighting around the cooldown of Requiem Souls,
Mm-hmm.
but the item does give you HP, which is a lot of what Shadow Fiend buys anyways, and it gives you bonus 20 damage and right click. So it's actually a pretty massive increase in damage once you do all the math. And I think they buffed the AoE of Requiem of Souls. I think it's at level 1. I guess that's kind of irrelevant now, but the skill has been buffed in quite a few ways to make it more consistent, I guess.
And what's the other option, like Dragonlance?
Yeah, I was thinking Dragonlance was my other guess.
It's going for S and
It's
Y.
also S and Y, yeah. That was the third. That's
Okay.
boring though.
Yeah,
It's still the right choice, but especially because they have so many auras, because it just gives them a lot of base stats, a lot more than Eggs would, which means that he'll synergize more with the damage aura from Venge and stuff like that. Definitely the more boring choice.
It's not the glamorous item, definitely
No.
not, but...
It's so much better though, honestly. Like, just the ability to right-click DPS more so than the Drow, or at least be more competitive there, is really important. You don't really need him to have like a super ulti.
How many times are we going to see this? Smoke into smoke. Yapner's the one that got tanked there, but the roar in onto Chesty K2. That's the solo static storm, but a perfect arrow. When Yapner will clear up one, the two-man cross Zero finds him deep. Black Hole, where is it? Where's the Enigma ultimate? Not going to throw it out, and they buy back. Bringing the Drow Ranger into the game again. Era retreating out. The Frost Arrows will slow him, but No Diggity. They are on full retreat towards the start. The point he can't Requiem himself from. Left jumps himself over to the side to find Era with a Yule Scepter. With Complexity, the arrow again. Jesse, no, the counter attacks it. Jesse's still alive. They'll look for Koikma, the Requiem wound up with him. HP turned on, and Koikma taken out with that all. Puck will find him. And No Diggity, too big for their boots in that one, but it was a lot of expenditure there from Complexity with that buyback from Drow as well.
Yeah, that went so well for Dignitas at the start, but the buyback from Drow, like you said, just changed everything. They had way too much damage at that point, and the fight was a little bit too spread out. Venge also used Swap just to save the Beastmaster, which worked at first, but the Puck committed to the kill. So, and this may just leave Complexity with a Roche now. So they needed to get some good fights, and they've used all their smokes basically, a lot of early engagements, and if No Diggity can defend this, they're going to be in a great spot.
They still hold on to Black Hole as well, Perch.
Yeah.
Seafreak didn't pop that one out.
Oh, Sparkler as well. Arrow's going to be coming in. It's going to miss everybody though.
Spreads through in between Roshan and the heroes. Keizu has been seen here. Radiant Observable gives perfect vision across everyone.
Alright. Nicely done by Complexity there to control that. They'll lose their ward on the high ground most likely, but No Diggity's going to be a little upset about that, but it's not the end of the world. There was the Drow buyback. His overall net worth is good on Drow, but it's not amazing. And in fact, the most surprising one is the Pug. He's doing great. 6-1 and 7 on Limb. He's actually been in almost every kill. That's incredible. He's been in 13 of these 14 kills. That's
he has.
actually ridiculous.
Very active early game here from Limp's Puck.
Yep.
Looking at the map itself right now, it's pretty dark for both teams. There's one observable apiece, one in the Radiant Jungle for No Diggity, and of course the one that was placed up above Roshan for Complexity. Where do they start to look to go? Because right now, No Diggity, they might think, got to be a little more timid, got to sit back and wait for ages to go. Or do they want to try and actually fight into Complexity when there's even Black Hole still up?
Well, BKB for Sard is a pretty big item, that's for sure, because once he initiates, he needs to make sure he doesn't just kind of die to, like, Connect Field, Disrupt ulti, for example. I mean, I'm sure the SF would be a lot happier having the full S and Y completed, because he'll get, like, an extra 40 movement speed or something like that. But they've got to wait a bit of time to hit those timings, and they have to try not to lose too many towers in the meantime. So I like that they're split pushing in response to this.
Seafreak looks like he's going into the Crimson Guard. Vitality boost is purchased.
I like that. Okay, yeah, that's why I bought Buckler. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Really good item, actually.
Super good against minus armor as well.
Yeah, because it damage blocks before the minus armor is applied, so it actually severely reduces the amount of damage that they do. Pretty cool build.
Poor Slardar on the poor Shadow Fiend. Gotta start ramping up this damage if they can. We've seen a lot of, Crimson Guard and Enigma thanks to Puppy with the whole kind of mech into Crimson Guard and BKB.
You mean the threat of the black hole?
The threat of the black hole build.
Yes.
I'm gonna run at you and you can't kill me.
Yep. And so then they're gonna be like, well, what do we do now? If we go in, we're gonna get black hole. This sucks. Yapster is playing amazing actually on Mirana right now. He's 4-1 and 7. He's almost got an Aghanim Scepter, which is pretty close to what like most farming Miranas have at this stage, more or less.
Mid Mirana's like, right, phase boot, Aquila bottle, get my Aghanim Scepter by like 19-20 minutes.
Yeah, and he's gonna have it at like Maximum 26 with a mech arcanes on top of that. He's playing amazing. He could actually just transition to a core this game, and it's very likely it'll happen. Which is even scary for Complexity. Again, they have all these items that are mostly auras. They don't really have a pipe though, because there's not that much magic damage coming out of No Diggity. And if he just starts hitting with, Ags with the Veil on top of that, he's gonna shred Complexity heroes.
All these Starstorms coming out. Complexity, they are the ones across the river and looking to set the terms of the engagement on this tier 2 tower. As Freak just moves forward, they can take this. There's no real way No Diggity actually push forward and defend. Kezu still farming bottom lane, and this map, it belongs to Complexity right now.
Yeah. They've got really good high ground too. They've frost armor on Doom, so everybody has actually ridiculous armor right now.
Oh god, 18 plus 19 on the Drow just then.
And Enigma, 6 plus 21. Ooh. The arrow gets the Alpha Wolf. That was actually so important.
Instead of the Manta Illusion?
Yeah, they just reduced their pushing damage by like 30%.
Man.
What a huge snipe. I don't know if he did that on purpose. It was either the Drow or the Alpha Wolf, but
it went through the Drow Manta.
Yeah, that was arguably a better pick. So that's actually going to hurt them. He goes back into the jungle, he grabs his Dark Soul. Not as good. He can set up a disable, but he has less damage. He's still hitting hard though.
Bruce Campbell's here with the Army of Darkness coming forward to the skeletons. Koikva says, nope, not today. Dark Troll is gone and the glyph expended. Slow this one down. Complexity will secure the tier 3 and they stick around. They go back. Bottom tier 2. Nice push needs addressing.
No, it looks like they're sticking with it. I mean, the tower's gone. That's the hardest part.
I guess the glyph as well being popped. You can just walk up with the Enigma and say, come at me.
Yeah.
You have to be wary about Syndra's level 2 swap, though. He's hit level 11. Start things off. Arrow. Catapult gone. Koikva. Slow down a little bit by Jesse.
Koikva.
Gust as well. It's dangerous territory walking forward into this Drow Ranger, and you've got the wraparound, though. Hera and Kezu both sitting behind and blinking onto Lip. The puck is caught. Arrow gonna fly forward, but they'll pack it up. Left side still dropped onto Hera as well. But Koikva, there's the Requiem match. Going to go Black Hole, passes out too. Hera's down. Koikva standing through this one with BKB out. He's gonna try and battle out this ruin, but he's taken down. Jesse will secure the kill, and he might have to buy back on this Shadow Fiend because Syndran is no man's land. No Diggity or glimpse back the Beastmaster as well. They buy back the SF. They need to keep this fight going. But the Doom was held by Swindle. He finally gets it down to the slot on the Rex. Oh, Koikva. Holding the connect field. A leap out, but Jesse, he's got Agency Immortal still held onto this one, and Hero's got it. Drowning. They can't do it. They can't catch it. They might get lift. Good face shift down. Koikva, another raise, but the Glimpse back will save Complexity and they'll bail out. One was the only casualty. Swindle. They jump in again, and Lift just keeps on going. The gift that keeps on giving this puck. 6 to a 9, looking for Koikva as well. And No Diggity. They'll lose the Shadow Fiend. Buy back into dieback.
Oh my god, they actually just died one by one. Now look at the net worth. It's completely one-sided here. It looked so good for Digitas, or for No Diggity. I said so much. And it looked so good for them at the start of the fight because they killed the puck right away, but he just fought back, boots have traveled, and then the fight got hard. And now they're going to get a rack, and that was like buybacks on every hero just about.
So often we see buybacks used defensively to try and, recover fights, but Complexity, that's twice now in this game where they've used it to win a fight, to dominate a fight with a buyback. First on the Drow earlier on, now on the puck. They control this one. First racks, first lane falls 26 minutes in. No Diggity. This is going to be a tough scramble to get back in.
They still can do it. I mean, Mirana's still incredibly farmed, but losing her access early is kind of a big deal.
No Diggity this minus armor strat, right?
Yes.
Z-Freak says, screw you. I've got Crimson Guards, lads. And now another buckler.
Okay. This isn't the worst thing. I mean,
it's got so much armor.
It's very, very efficient. And when you're trying to win games by a certain time limit, and this is a perfect example of that, the Drow strat, then you need to buy as many efficient items as possible. Because if you just don't die in your pushes, you just win the game. Because your opponents have to buy back, and you still kill them. That's literally what's happening. Like, it's a 7 armor item with +2 to all attributes for 800 gold. That's pretty efficient, considering that you can buy a plate mail, which is 10 armor, for 1400. That's almost twice as much, and it gives you pretty close to the same amount of armor. So, obviously, he's going to sell this later, most likely, or he can sell it as Soul Ring and buy a different item, but he's really hard to kill right now.
Or he gets another Crimson Guard.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah, why the hell not? I mean, it's a pretty good item.
Yeah, it's probably fine, totally.
Swindles. Speaking of plate mails, he's nearly got his Assault Cuirass done. Mail and chain mail on top of the Greaves. Oh boy, well, Chessie.
AC, I guess.
Testy Eagle Song. Now we saw Mushi opt for the blade back on his anti-mage, but I think Butterfly here for complexity should be the item.
Yeah, that's the counter to all of these auras. You just can't hit. Evasion is a good solution. Keizu's got a gem. Is going to be looking for a hero. I think they do know about where Disruptor is. Yeah, look at that. Oh, he actually backed right before the smoke broke.
Oh man.
Oh, it's going to break on Swindles instead. This is a hard kill.
Here's a tanky Doom and No Diggity. They give up on it.
He's got plus 36 armor. I don't think they can kill that guy. There's no way.
Radiant's
Up top,
bottom
Jim.
tower is under
Roshan,
attack.
when do you respawn, big man? We'll see in a couple of seconds. 1 minute and 20 seconds. No Diggity would have loved it to be an instant respawn, but they will not have Lady Luck shining on their side tonight.
I don't even know if they'd feel confident doing that without having a hero kill. Like, they still don't have a BKB on Slardar. He's been getting doomed in fights, and it's clear that he doesn't feel very confident trying to DPS, which maybe he should be more so, especially because he went this armlet build. I mean, you could also say the opposite should be, well, if you're not going to DPS, just get BKB immediately after Blink, but he did offer the armlet. I think this might be a mistake, especially against the Doombringer, because like we said, if he gets doomed, then armlet's kind of a bad item to have. If he has BKB, that's fine. He'll still take the damage and be disabled, but he won't be stunned on the way out. You can just get doomed and leave. So I kind of feel like it's a mistake to go the armlet before BKB this game. I think it would have been much better if he just went straight BKB after Blink.
There's very limited vision here from No Diggity. Not able to see really what Complexity are doing, but it's Complexity that used a scan. They were expecting a smoke through the mid lane and maybe aggressively into the jungle, which, No Diggity did try a good minute or so ago. The SF just continues farming. That's drums for Cinderin. Tank up a little bit there and add some more value to his team fight.
And a move speed mostly. It doesn't give you as much agility as it used to, but yeah, a little bit of strength. The movement speed's really the big thing. They're having some trouble getting kited in this game, and this is a case where I actually really like Drum is on supports because it's mostly the aura and the int, which really applies to Venge, especially with his recent int nerf. So he can make all of his allies run and attack so much faster. And again, auras, it's the aura strat.
Just add more in.
Why not?
What are they missing actually? So they don't have an AC or a Shiver's Guard or anything like that. They actually don't have a Vlad's.
Yeah, Vlad's is definitely something they could use. I don't think it's not that big of a deal that they're missing it. I think they just need better team fight, I guess. Is there an item for that?
Get an axe on Venge, just magic it out of thin air.
That's real expensive. He was like, oh, luxury item, 1,800 gold, sick. There's no way he can afford 4K. Things just got kind of hard. Maybe Quickfoot should have showed up to that top team fight. Couple team fights should have gone a little bit better for them. They do smoke up here.
Again, it's just going to be two Rams butting heads. Complexity are also smoked up towards the mid, and they're scouting out with the Santa Banisher. They sent us into the rush bit earlier on. They know Roshan's alive, and they know that No Diggity are probably somewhere in the area because they're not. Yeah. No one's farming top, no one's farming mid, no one's pushing anywhere. Everyone's off the map right now, and both teams are just scratching their head, going, "Well, where are they? We don't want to get jumped on. We don't want to get initiated on."
They're both saying, okay, they're prepped for the Roche defense, therefore we will go where they're waiting, and both teams did that, so therefore they've actually swapped sides. Now this is technically worse for No Diggity. They're gonna spot though.
Well, they're low ground.
Pot of ult, and they have Sentry right on that spot.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
We'll try and see them coming through. No Diggity. Again, the long way round.
The wraparound.
But they're wrapping on themselves. They're going through their own jungle.
Is that so bad? I mean,
it's better. I
mean, they don't want to run uphill. Like, Complexity has the high ground. We all know what happens. There's no way you can win when they have the high ground. It's literally impossible. So they had to go all the way around.
Dodge as much as you can, and this, the long route means that Complexity take the short route into the Roshan pit, and No Diggity cannot contest this. That's Aegis and Cheese. 30 minutes in the third Roshan falls.
Immortality.
What do we get? Chessie with Aegis and Limp with the Cheese. He's got his Aghanim Scepter done as well. And buybacks. Oh, Shadow Fiend will have his in a little bit when it comes off cooldown. 5 seconds. Apart from that, we've got Era and the Absorb both have theirs with the Slardar and the Mirana. I think they're going to be needed here for this high ground push in because Complexity have their eyes set on tier 3 bottom.
That's the goal, man. Passing the Cheese to Doom. Puck's going to have his Axe. He actually has to go all the way back to base for this, but he's got a boost to travel. Courier apparently died. Poor little Courier.
With a Tome of Knowledge and war on it.
Now that is wasted. Man, Drow hits really hard right now, and she's giving a lot of damage as well. 78 damage to all of her ranged allies. That's ridiculous.
Manta Illusions and the Aegis as well.
Okay, is he actually making another Crimson Guard?
Is he? Oh.
It looks a whole lot like a second guard. Don't think he should. You're losing a lot of value. I could honestly justify maybe not hard. If they had less minus armor, I would be like, I am so into this heart, but we'll see what he gets. Maybe maybe Rod of Atos.
Who's the player that goes like 3 vitality boosts?
That's Febby.
Febby, of course, on MVP.
I think he's gonna go Rod of Atos here. I really like it against SF. Slardar, really good. Just slow him down, prevent him from
keep collecting
you. Exactly. Good item pick in this point, and a lot of mana as well. So they're definitely gonna commit to the high ground. They're quite a ways ahead. I think they could win if they drew this out a little bit, but it's a lot safer just to commit. Wait till, or try to fight them before Shadow Fiend gets any really big items, basically.
They've plateaued a little bit in their lead. 8k, it's been that for a while now, and experience, same story, about 7,500. Manta.
Oh, the arrowheads.
It's the real drow. So he doesn't get out of that one, but the urn, ticking back up to full HP, and a tier 2 bit here, No Diggity. They want to defend, they've got to do it soon. Getting into this fight sharpish.
They look at the roar, basically. A level 2 swap. There's the invis.
MLS.
They have a sentry set up, but I don't know if they can see swindles or not. They actually do. They could do the swap now.
Or onto Chessie. I guess the Aegis is something you don't really want to go for. Out the Requiem there, the Yap will jump forward. Here's the swindle. Requiem from the high ground, but let's master. Shredded. Further damage to the black ball. There he begins. He's dead. Half by like Velvet Syndrome drops slowly but surely. Complexity dismantled, No Diggity. Koikra is trapped and a good face shift out from Lim. Keep him safe from the arrow. At this point, what does No Diggity have left to give? Of course, there are no ultimates really here from Complexity, but it doesn't matter. The glimpse from Koik will send him back. Further initiation tools from Cole to they jump in, so they'll move up towards top. Tier 3, Mega Creeps. As Diggity left to really try and clean up the scraps and push out the lanes.
No ultimates. It was so difficult to fight this. I mean, I guess nobody in Complexity doesn't either. Maybe they can get an arrow. Darstorm helps a lot. It's a good start.
Oh, enough though, with Aegis still up on Chessie and Limp to just grab the cheese. And he's going to use up.
He might get him for free though.
There, Koikra dropping low. Chessie is going to pop.
He's not dying.
And now he finally goes to the Requiem. And the buyback from Koikra returns into the game. But No Diggity. 5 versus 5 here. That great crush in from Era, but the damage is just lacking. No Diggity will armor themselves back up to full HP, but Koik for the buyback. Into the frost arrows, and Chessie looks for Keiju instead. They need one more barracks here. It's a good game. No Diggity tap out.
They did it, man. This is a super well executed draw strat. Like, they just played every team fight so efficiently. Every item they bought was efficient. They didn't say, oh, maybe if we don't go all in, maybe we'll just go semi all in. No, they went completely all in with every item purchase. As much item efficiency as they could. They didn't aim for the late game. They didn't aim for the farming patterns. They just said, we're going to close this one out. And it all basically came down to a couple team fights that No Diggity needed to win better, and they weren't able to do so. And I just think they didn't quite coordinate in the fights that they needed to as well as they needed to. There was always like 2 heroes going in, but the other heroes weren't quite set up for that. Honestly, a lot of that was the tier fight top. They had tons of farm. The Shadow Fiend didn't have